William J. Burns, the American diplomat and current CIA director, writes, "That's ultimately what diplomacy is all about. Not perfect solutions, but outcomes that cost far less than war and leave everyone better off than they would otherwise have been." The National Museum of American Diplomacy defines it as the art and practice of building and maintaining relationships and conducting negotiations with people using tact and mutual respect. Throughout history, certain individuals have stood out for their remarkable ability to navigate complex international relations. Figures like Nelson Mandela, Mohammed el-Baradei, Eleanor Roosevelt, and Henry Kissinger have left legacies that continue to shape global politics. In this documentary, I will explore the lasting impact of these key figures and their contributions to the art of diplomacy. Nelson Mandela's diplomatic efforts were crucial in guiding South Africa through its transition from apartheid to democracy. As leader of the ANC, he advocated for reconciliation amid widespread violence. His efforts helped establish the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, which gave South Africans the opportunity to hear openly about the brutal treatment of those who opposed the apartheid regime. John L. Hirsch, a senior advisor at the International Peace Institution, commented on how Mandela's diplomacy extended to the business community, where he pushed for economic inclusion at the 1992 Davos Summit and reassured international investors by adjusting the ANC's economic policies. James Joseph, a former ambassador to South Africa, highlighted how Nelson Mandela defied the conventional wisdom about the relationship between power, diplomacy, and the state. He said that Nelson Mandela embodied the essence of soft power. His influence stemmed not from coercion, but from the appeal of his ideals, the integrity of his character, and the power of his personal journey. For Mandela, principled diplomacy wasn't just a strategy, it was a way of life. Like Gandhi and Martin Luther King Jr., Mandela had an innate talent for inspiring others, shifting attitudes, and appealing to the best in human nature. Overall, his leadership transcended politics, drawing people towards his vision of reconciliation, justice, and peace. Eleanor Roosevelt revolutionized diplomacy by bringing everyday people and civic groups into the conversation, something that she called diplomacy from below. As a U.S. delegate to the United Nations, she played a key role in creating the Human Rights Commission and pushing for the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, a milestone document that outlines fundamental human rights that are to be universally protected. She was a bridge between political leaders and grassroots movements fighting for democracy, equality, and human rights. Even with the challenges of the Cold War, she stayed true to her ideals and even became known as the First Lady of the World for her impact on global diplomacy and justice. Eleanor's diplomatic efforts, particularly in her advocacy for human rights, were rooted in the belief that sustainable peace is built on mutual understanding, respect, and cooperation. She sought to address conflict through empathy and the promotion of universal values. Henry Kissinger was a complex and polarizing figure in American foreign policy. Serving under multiple U.S. presidents, his career spanned some of the most turbulent periods of the 20th century. Kissinger's diplomatic legacy is marked by both significant achievements and enduring controversies. He is best known for his role in opening diplomatic relations with China, holding secret meetings with Beijing that eventually led to the U.S. recognizing the People's Republic of China. He was the only American to engage with every Chinese leader. Kissinger also negotiated with the Soviet Union, helping broker nuclear arms control salts like SALT I and the Anti-Ballistic Missile Treaty. During the Vietnam War, Kissinger negotiated the Paris Peace Accords, which led to the U.S. military withdrawal and earned him the Nobel Peace Prize. However, his legacy is controversial. He met with authoritarian leaders like Chile's Augusto Pinochet and has been accused of violating international law in Cambodia. Despite the criticism, his diplomatic achievements remain significant. He is remembered for his strategic thinking, but also for his extremely controversial decisions that continue to spark debate. Mohammed el-Baradei's career has exemplified the power of diplomacy in global security and peace. Awarded the Nobel Peace Prize alongside the International Atomic Energy Agency, el-Baradei was recognized for his tireless efforts to prevent nuclear energy from being used for military purposes and ensuring its peaceful use under strict international oversight. As IAEA Director General, he advocated for nuclear disarmament, non-proliferation, and stronger international controls. Beyond his work in nuclear diplomacy, El-Baradei became a prominent voice for democratic change in Egypt, playing a key role in the 2011 protests that led to the ousting of the president. His belief in verification and diplomacy as powerful tools for change defined his legacy as a diplomat committed to peace and global cooperation. As we've seen, the lives and legacies of Nelson Mandela, Eleanor Roosevelt, Henry Kissinger, and Mohammed El-Baradei reveal the diverse ways that diplomacy can be used to shape the world. These figures demonstrate how diplomacy, in its many forms, can alter the course of history, and their work continues to resonate today, reminding us that diplomacy isn't just about power and persuasion, but it's about building understanding, finding common ground, and working towards a more peaceful and just world.